آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون.
So moving on to the next category, and that is the غير متضادة, those sifat which are intrinsic, lazima. They are intrinsic in the letters, however they do not have opposites. And there are some letters that need more sifat in them in order to distinguish them or in order to pronounce them correctly. So some letters have added a sifat. So these sifat are also lazima. It is impossible that a letter having one of these qualities be found without it. However, they do not have any opposites and will only apply to some letters of the Arabic alphabet. The first one is Safir. Safir, it literally means a whistling sound. It is found in the Sad, the Sin, and the Zai. The Zai. When these letters are pronounced, there is a whistling sound. So generally, these sounds, it has a whistling sound, it has a more, so that like the Sad, it has more of a fullness, or it has some type of whistling sound that comes with it. Similarly, the Sin, the Sin, the Za, which has more of a buzz sound to it. So these exist in these three letters. So these are added sifat that only exist in these three letters, which are called Safir. Number 2, Lean. Lean. It literally means softness. It is found in the Waw Sakina and the Ya Sakina when they are preceded by a Fatha. The Aw or the Ay. So these are your letters of Lean. Aw or Ay. So they are pronounced with ease and without much exertion or difficulty. So if a person is reading, for example, وَأَوْحَيْنَا, so you wouldn't say وَأَوْحَيْنَا, because they are easy, they are soft, there's no difficulty in reciting these letters. وَأَوْحَيْنَا, so that's sufficient. Or شَيْءٌ, it shouldn't be شَيْءٌ, شَيْءٌ, so it's very soft. شَيْءٌ, شَيْء مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ, so there shouldn't be exaggeration. مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ, شَيْطَانِ, it is very easy because the literal meaning of lean is softness. So مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ, shay, very easy. So that is a sifat of lean. Number 3, inhiraf. It literally means inclination. The makhraj of these letters incline towards the makhraj of another letter. It is found in the lam and the ra. So when we look at inhiraf, it means inclination. So the lam and the ra, they are, first thing we have to understand is they are very close in their makharij. It is very close to the extent that some qurra, they say that the lam, noon and ra, they are all in one makhraj, where the tip of the tongue would touch the gum line of the teeth. would touch the gums of the teeth extending from one canine to the next. So some of them say they're all in that one makhraj. However, Imam Jazari and Khalil ibn Ahmad al-Farahidi, they say all three of these letters, lam, noon and ra, are separate. But in this case, the lam and the ra, they have such a close connection in terms of their makharij. There is an inclination that is going to take place, a natural inclination. So when we look, what is this inclination? When one is pronouncing the lam, says al or la, the way his tongue is moving, it is moving forward and it's inclining towards the ra. It is going towards the makhraj of ra. So when he says al, the movement going forward of his tongue, the forward movement of his tongue is what is referred to as the inhiraf. So, and similarly, when we say the ra or when we say ar, when the tongue retracts into the makhraj of ra, when it goes back, the movement of the tongue going backwards, ar, this inclination is towards the makhraj of the lam. So this is what is meant by inhiraf, the inclination of the two. And inhiraf is such a sifa, it's not like the others where you can hear it. You can't hear inhiraf, like for example itbaq, isti'la, and so on. Inhiraf is something which you have to feel, and it is something, it is a type of movement of the tongue which you have to feel, the person has to feel. So if someone is not careful, the lam can fall into the ra, and the ra can fall into the lam, and if he reads sometimes, he might swap these two letters because he's not careful of this particular inclination which is happening when he's pronouncing the lam and the ra. Moving on, the fourth sifa, غير متضادة, is takrir or takrar. It literally means to repeat something. It is found in the ra. When it is pronounced, the tongue shudders or shivers because it repeatedly knocks against the palate. The correct pronunciation of takrir requires us to hide or minimize the takrir and not to exaggerate it. So this you'll find in all the books. All the Qur'an, they say you don't exaggerate or you don't over pronounce the ra. So for example, min sharri, so that would be exaggerating the ra. Sharri arrah, so that constant knock or repeated knock of the ra. So this is what we must avoid. So it's a natural thing in the ra that it wants to roll. The ra wants to roll when you pronounce it, but here we are required to hide it as far as possible. We should minimize the sound of the ra. So min sharri, sharri, we hide the bouncing of the ra. Arrah, arrah, instead of arrah, arrah. So this is what is required from us when pronouncing the letter ra. Moving on, tafashi, tafashi. It literally means spread out. It is found in the sheen. When pronouncing this letter, the breath spreads throughout the mouth. So first thing we have to understand is the makhraj of sheen, the way the makhraj of sheen, or the way the tongue of this makhraj, it rises up to the palate. And because of this rising of the tongue to the palate, there is a restriction of airflow. Even though there is little air flowing over the tongue, it is restricting some of the airflow. Because of this restriction, the air that is flowing, it needs to go to another place, and that is under the tongue, around the mouth. It is moving everywhere and it is spreading throughout the mouth, and this is what is meant by tafashi. It spreads out, the air is spreading out. So there is some air going over the tongue, however it is restricted, and the rest of the air is finding somewhere else, an easier place to go out, and that is spreading throughout the mouth. And the difference, and we should keep in mind that sheen also has hams, meaning the airflow will also flow over the tongue. It will spread out through the front as well as the rest of the mouth. So this is one difference between hams and tafashi. Hams will only spread straight forward over the tongue, easy, whereas sheen will be straightforward and around the rest of the mouth.
وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ